俺の財宝か？欲しけりゃくれてやる。探せ！この世の全てをそこに置いてきた。
Yo guys, and welcome to this new video. It looks like the fights immediately started for what concerns this Shadow Realm part of the arc, and we immediately have the two Crimson Lions involved in their respective duels that are incredibly delegated but also significant for the contest and for the way in which they are presented in parallel, exploring the relationship between these two siblings, which is a theme we saw often in this last part of the series. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and let's jump straight into it. I think this chapter is a great example of how one that was supposed to be focused on just one theme should be developed. And this is because the main aspect, the core aspect, is seen from many different perspectives. In this situation, the contrast and the relationship between the two Vermilions is not only presented through their own thoughts, which allow to see how each one of them sees the other, but at the same time we can look at this contrast directly by ourselves by considering the differences between their fighting styles and their approach to their own duel. And the interesting fact is that these two perspectives are kind of connected to each other because they evolve in the same situation. Mereoleona is fighting, and while she's fighting, she is thinking about Fuegoleon and Fuegoleon's way of approaching everything, and thus also fightings. And Fuegoleon is doing the same thing during his own battle. And while we are seeing all of that through these two different but connected perspectives, the flashback constitutes another one that allows to see how the relationship evolved according to the differences but also the similarities between these two apparently incredibly opposite characterizations. Moreover, the crazy fact is that all of that is perfectly balanced with the presentation of an incredibly new type of magic that is different from anything else we saw before, and I'm talking about Sir Kaiser's vortex magic, with an incredibly interesting concept behind it. This magic that, by spinning the mana very fast, allows to both repel and catch the mana that is sent by the opponent. And this is incredibly interesting and incredibly effective type of magic. So everything, while this contrast and relationship between Mereoleona and Fuegoleon is being developed, everything also keeps pace with the plot itself, with the fights they are facing themselves. And the contrast is also used to make both of them overcome the difficulties of the moment. And all of those aspects that are put together in a way which doesn't allow any of them to be more relevant to the others or to eclipse the others makes the chapter kind of fast and for this reason fun to read, while maintaining the great profoundness related to the relationship between the two Vermilions. And speaking of this relationship, it's interesting to notice how while Fuegoleon is compared clearly to a lion, because he is the regal head of the herd, you could say, a person that easily can take the lead of any group of people because it's capable to gain their trust with its just lead, Mereoleona on the other hand is clearly compared to a lioness, the member of the herd that, despite not being the head, is the one in charge of food, is the one in charge of the survival of the herd, but it's also the one that hunts, is the one that is more related to the instinctive side of the animal, not to the social side. And so this wildness, that is an aspect I always appreciate of a character, together with the craziness, especially if she's a woman, contrasts with Fuegoleon's kind of concerned attitude, a behavior that always thinks of others with the perspective of a leader. Now, to conclude, talking about the fights themselves, considering how in this manga physical hits always have great effect because people are more accustomed to fight with magic and mana, and so they do not have generally great physical endurance if they do not train it directly, like Asta that has no magic at all, or if they do not enhance it specifically like Yami and Veto. Considering that, it's very likely that Fuegoleon's hit had incredible effect and could also be the end of that fight. This is probably not the case on Mereoleona's hand because Veto is a strong physical fighter. His magic is based on enhancing physical characteristics, but in Fuegoleon's case we may have already seen the end. I don't expect that. I expect the fight to last a little bit more because we didn't see too much about the Kaiser's magic. We saw how it is powerful in defense and how this defense can be used also as an offense, but we didn't see more strategical and or technical uses of those spells. However, I also expect the next chapter to show something about Asta Mimosa and Noelle, and to show how their fights are going. Unfortunately, we won't know until next week, and waiting for it. That's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Ciao!